starts recording. That's what I don't like. Is when we get all right. Okay, we'll deal with that. I like that. Okay, that one's recording. One, two, three. One, two, three. Welcome back. Welcome back to season three. Yes, we're still in season three. Episode, not even the episode number. Happy New Year to everybody. Yay. Happy New Year. Yay. I hope you hear the clapping. I think I've gotten it down packed now when you hear the clapping. Happy New Year, everybody. Of what Shayro thinks about it. Stuff in my mind that forms into words and then actually comes out of my mouth. I am Shayro. And this week, I just wanted to jump on the microphone and say Happy New Year to everyone. I really don't have total topics I want to talk about. Well, I have some stuff I want to talk about because this year has been yearing and life has been lifing in this year. I just want to say Happy New Year, everyone. I'm recording this the morning of New Year's Eve. I've been trying to record. I've been trying to record since November, really, but I'm just now taking some time. I had to take some time, just jump on the microphone, do this. Wow, can you believe we are at the end of another year and the start of another? Can you believe that we are in year 25 of this new century? Well, technically, well, actually, this is the start of year 26, year of the century, and we're completing the 25th year. It's weird how that goes because the year 2000 is a whole complete year. So that counts. This is really the end of the 25th year of the century, a quarter of a century, basically, and the start of the 26th year of the century. Wow, that is just amazing. And what a year it has been. All of the ups and downs and ins and outs this year has been to everyone. I don't do New Year's or New Year resolutions. There's a debate if that's New Year's or New Year. Depends how you're saying it, but I don't do New Year resolutions. But I do make plans and goals I would like to achieve with the coming of each year, but I don't just make them specific that I am doing this because of the new year. I will set a goal and say, my goal is to meet 5 people this year. Okay. Not necessarily a resolution. I just don't do the resolution thing because in 2 weeks, everybody does the resolution. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to join the gym. We join the gym 3 months later. Why are they taking this out of my account? You know how it is. But what a year it has been. I have had some ups and downs. I've had a lot of things going on with me personally, maybe professionally. You probably can hear this microphone picks up very well, I'm pretty sure. Even though I don't know if it's picking up everything the way I wanted to pick up now. Maybe that's better. I hope it is. I'm not re-recording. I'm probably not going to edit. I'm not going to edit this episode. I don't have time. So what happens happens. I'm just going to let it roll. Like my friend, fellow podcaster, whom I've been out of touch with this year a lot, sipping with Shantae. She hits record, and you get what you get. What comes out, what comes out. And she doesn't do editing. I got to catch up with her though. wonderful podcast. If you ever listen to Sipping with Shantae, of course, with the host Shantae. This year, like I said, it has been yearing. This year has been a year. I think the biggest thing that happened with me this year was the surgery I had, and some may consider it minor, but it was a little surgery I had on my leg because February of 2024, I'm at a Toastmasters meeting. Okay? I'm going back up to the lectern, and when I get up, I feel this little something in my leg. Like it just doesn't feel right. It's a hurt. It's a pain. And I'm sitting there in the meeting, and I'm going like, something's hurting me. My goal last year, by the way, we did the at my Toastmaster meeting at the beginning of the year. Everyone would tell what their goals or what their resolution was. My goal was to eat, and share how this ties in. My goal was to eat. And we're like, wow, eat. Well, you have people like, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to do this. I'm going to work on my doctorate this year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a new job. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to start that business. I'm going to quit my business. All these great, wonderful things people want to do, and mine was just simple, to eat. Because in order for you to do all this greatness that you may want to do for the new year, you still got to eat. And that's paramount right there, is to eat. So how does this tie in? July 4th, 2024. I'm ripping and running. I'm taking people back and forth to the airport. I'm picking up people from the airport. I'm ripping, running, going back and forth. It is my goal for that day. I'm going to probably purchase some barbecue or a meal from this restaurant we usually purchase. Barbecue. I don't get the grill anymore because situation, whatever. I don't get the grill that much anymore. But we usually do like a meal from this restaurant. I was going to do all my rips and runs and whatever, and I was going to pick up a meal from there, and we would enjoy our 4th of July like we've been doing for a little while. The thing I didn't do that day, I didn't eat properly. Yes. And that cyst is what it was. I was getting a cyst on my leg back in February. Now, mind you, this is July. I've had this pain in my leg. I went to the doctor once. I asked them to cut it, burst it, whatever you do, let it drain. They didn't want to do that. They wanted me to go see orthopedic surgeon. I didn't say that right. It's the New Year's Eve. So what? See, I'm going to even leave the throat clears in there. Usually when I edit, I take those out. But they wanted me to go see that. Me being who I am, they gave me some medicine. I took the medicine. It seemed like it went down. It got better. But it didn't completely heal it. And I'm trying to figure out, why do they want me to go see an orthopedic surgeon? I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about medical things in terms of what they do. I felt better. It was getting better. But then I felt that it wasn't better. So here we are, fast forward to July 4th. I didn't eat properly. I'm up in, I think they call it Houston. They say I mispronounced it incorrectly. I'm at the Quick Trip there. And it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I believe. And I pick up a barbecue sandwich from Quick Trip. That's basically the only real food I've had, but it's kind of too late because I haven't eaten real food or anything in over, we may be at 20 hours at that point, because I knew I'd eaten something like the day before or whatever, but I hadn't really eaten anything that day. And I'm feeling horrible, horrible, horrible. I go get in my truck. I'm parked outside the Quick Trip. And I'm going through my mind, I'm like, should I send my location to people? Because I feel like they're probably going to find my body here. Because I got to take a nap. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. Like, I've been running back and forth to the airport. Those are hour-long drives back and forth to the airport where I was going to. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I eat my sandwich. I have my Powerade. I don't know if I can get in the picture. It may have been orange Powerade today, but it's always the one with 0 sugar. But I feel horrible, and I feel like, mind you, I felt this way before. My leg is, of course, hurting me. It hurts to travel, and this has been going on since February. We're now July 4th. I said, I got to take a nap before I can get home. It's probably like 30 minutes for me to get home. I got to take a nap. But in the back of my mind, I don't know if I'm going to wake up from this nap. So I don't know, should I send my location? But I go ahead and take the nap. I think I rested about 30, 40 minutes before I wake up. And I'm like, I'm still not feeling me. I make it home and I'm like, I just don't feel good. I don't go pick up barbecue from anywhere else, and I still haven't really eaten yet. I forgot what day Fourth of July was on. Can I get my calendar up here? Tell me what day the Fourth of July was on. Because that does matter. What day it was. While that's pulling up, getting my calendar pulled up. That's not calendar. That's a calendar. July 4th, 2024 was on a Thursday. Yes, that was on a Thursday. So we're probably like, 7, 8 p.m. And I'm like, I think I need to go to the emergency room. But I decided I'm going to take a nap. I take a nap. Mm, I think I do get something of substance to eat now, whatever. And of course, I still have my Powerade, my sugar, zero sugar ginger ale. Those are just my drinks. And I feel better-ish now. I feel better than what I feel like I'm gonna make it now. I'm home. I've had something, but not exactly what I wanted. I don't remember if I was off the Friday after the Fourth of July or not. I don't remember. I may have had to work. I'm not for sure. At the Just Over Broke Saturday night, and looking at this, I don't know why July 9th sticks out, but for some reason it does. Saturday night, probably in the morning, I got to go to the emergency room. I think it's Saturday night, about to be midnight, about to be Sunday. I go to the emergency room. The pain in my leg is just totally. Remember, I told you, sis. Basically, the pain started back in February. Went to the emergency room. They take my vitals, everything. I tell them about what's going on with my leg. And they're like, yeah, you probably have to have surgery, which is what ended up happening. I have to have surgery. Amazing. The same doctor that removed my gallbladder was going to be the doctor that did this. They get me back there pretty quick to do surgery. I won't say I had surgery that Sunday, which is amazing to me. I didn't know you could get surgery on a Sunday, but and not say it was emergency surgery, but that cyst, those toxins from it, whatever, was actually going through my body. That's why I wasn't feeling good and the way I was feeling. And those toxins, from what I've learned, you don't do something about it, they could kill you. So I don't feel good. Turns out that cyst turned into an abscess. The doctor had to make a incision in my leg and go in. He had to go and burst. And he's like, yeah, there was a lot of pus there, and it actually spilled out on my shoes. He was being funny. He's a funny guy, by the way. So I'm like, you do that. As soon as I wake up from surgery, I can tell the difference. I don't feel the hurt as much as I do in my leg. So then I'm in the hospital. I'm in the hospital, I think, till Wednesday, and of course, when you're in the hospital, your numbers don't look the way they should be. They go all out of the way based upon what kind of insurance you have. So had to get numbers right, everything like that. Had to do some things to follow up with the surgeon. Had to follow up my regular doctor. Like, when's the last time you went to your doctor? That's me. And yeah, it's been a while. It's been a few months. I haven't went like I was supposed to. Okay. I'm going to the doctor. They give me a lot of my meds, prescriptions the way they should be, get my numbers. They're still looking at my numbers. I was supposed to go to the doctor last week, but I moved that to the first of January. That new time kicks in. I'm out of time because I spent almost a week in the hospital. That took a lot of my time. So I couldn't do a lot of stuff I wanted to this year. But it's funny. I'm looking at my calendar and I'm looking at August. I was looking at August and July. I'm like, why am I looking at August and July? Let me change my screen back to what I wanted to say. So that was the big thing of my year, was that surgery. And when we gave our things we were thankful for this year a few weeks back in my Toastmasters Club, the thing I was thankful for is that I no longer had the pain I was having. Now here is the funny thing, we're going to tie this into now. While this pain was going through my leg, anytime I had to step up on a curb or anything, I would use my right leg to put my weight on, either pull me up, or if I'm coming off of a curb, I use my right leg, because I tried it with my left leg. Wasn't going to happen. Very thankful I did not have a standard shift vehicle at this time, because my left leg, it just hurt to do anything. When I'm driving, I just had to let it sit there. And I'm constantly rubbing it with my hand like I'm doing right now. Few days ago, I want to say Christmas Day or maybe the day before Christmas, I'm walking and I realize I still do that. I pull myself up on the curb or somewhere with my right leg. It's been 6 months. I feel fine. I should be able to do this with my left leg. And I just did it with my left leg. Ooh. That leg said, "We're not used to this. We've been going basically this whole year without being the weight leg or the leg you pull yourself on." And it let me know you're not ready for that. So here we are right now. I have a slight pain in my leg, right where the surgeon made his mark. He told me I'm going to have a little ugly mark here. It is ugly, but when I look at it, I think of, well, I no longer have that pain that I had. So where I'm going to be pretty soon. I got a doctor's appointment coming up. Look, we don't need to go what we went through last year. We're not waiting from February to July to take care of this. We're going to take care of this right now. Not right now, but right now. Like I said, that's been the biggest highlight of my year. The thing about New Year, what I really want to talk about, growth. And I'm one of those people, I always say, come grow with me, grow with me, grow with me. That's when I posted my Merry Christmas. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Let's grow together in 2025. However, growth is optional. Growth is not necessarily what people on the outside see. And I can say, my growth this year it was that I got rid of that pain. Oh my goodness, I had some pain, and I'm gonna get rid of this new pain because we're not going through this. We grown some. Some people look at growth as you make more money, you get that promotion, you get a raise, or you move into doing this, do this, and there's this thing out there. People say the worst thing you can do is to be in the same place you were last year. Shut up. Some people are happy being where they are. They're happy. They may not want to grow anymore, or maybe they've grown as much as they have. Everybody's not trying to grow. You look at forecasts for the next year, or stockholders, they want to know that I'm going to make more money. I'm going to do more, 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 more. And sometimes you might want to say, thank you for what I have. When I think of that, I think of my dad. Growing up, my dad always told us we were poor. We were not poor. I've met poor people. We were not poor. But my dad always looked at the things he didn't have. He was very thankful for the things he had, but he never looked at the things he had that made him not poor. For one, my mom and dad, they owned it. They owned our home. We had land. We had a farm. We grew things. We sold stuff. We gave a lot of stuff away to people. We fed people. They canned and put back things, whatever. We most all my life, we've had at least two vehicles in the yard. At one point, it was three. Little truck I had when I was driving high school wasn't my truck. It was my dad. And the way my dad said, that's his truck, and he's allowing me to drive it. So, but we always had vehicles in the yard. We always had great Christmas. I think we had the most wonderful Christmases. We always got it. It was three boys before my little sister came along that was in the home with my mom and dad. And as you hear me tell the story before, I've had a older brother my dad had prior to my mom's marriage, but he was not in our home. But from the way my dad tells it, he says my mom always made sure he had a gift on Christmas. My mom's not here to tell me how that went or whatever, but we always knew he was there. So disclaimer there. So when it was just the three boys, my older brother, my younger brother, myself, I was a middle child. I've had the older brother, my sister-in-law, the will of my older brother, and my little sister. They've been on my show before, but it was just the three boys. We always had that pile of toys. Then when my little sister came along, her toys were, she got her toys in her own room. She was the only girl. She was a baby girl. She was my mom's pride and joy. Yeah, wonderful. But we had the best Christmases, toys and food and everything. My mom always made sure we had this little brown paper bag. It had an apple, an orange, and like these little peppermint sticks you stick in the orange, and there'll be walnuts and I forget what they call these nuts. I don't want to say the country name of them because of the word that's used with them, but we always had these little nuts and stuff, and we would crack those nuts and everything, the oranges. And when you run out, my mom would be like, "Well, here's another one, whatever." It never dawned in my mind that since Santa Claus brought these items to us, that my mom had the extra ones. Maybe one day I'll figure that out. We had the best Christmas. Now in life, I try to give good Christmases to my son. I, he got a new phone this year, and I haven't seen him since he got the new phone. But I try to do the best I can. I really get very sad in Christmas because my mom, along with my dad, made our Christmases very special. So with this thing of growth, let's get back to that. I think over the years or the 23, 24 Christmases my son has endured, 23. He's 22, turning 23. I think I made those better. And with New Year's, we try to grow some. So yeah, let me try to back. How did I get off the subject this time? Okay, tying back into growth. Growth can only be measured by the individual that either did the growth or didn't do the growth. It's not measured by what I see you did or someone else. You can't compare yourself like, oh, this person did this, but I didn't do this. Their measurement, their stick of measurement is not yours. So don't worry about if you are in the same place next year that you are now. If you're happy, be happy. Your happiness does not depend on what someone else thinks applies to you. And I know I'm a motivational speaker and I'm supposed to motivate you to grow. And again, I tell people, if you want to grow, let's grow together here in the next year. I plan to grow in the next year. I don't plan to be in the same place. I hope not. But if I am in the same place I am next year, I hope I learned something. See, that's what we forget. Growth is not always about I got more money, or I got more. Maybe sometimes it's just the fact that I learned something that I didn't know, or I know how to do this better now. I know how to approach some things better. I know how to deal with Christmas gifts for the parental units and things like that because, as I've learned, cash money is the best Christmas gift for me and to give. I don't like to be in the store trying to figure out, will this person like this? Do I need to wrap this? No, that's not me. How much money do you want? That's what I'm gonna be. And I don't give. Only people I give money to is I can count on my fingers, or as my dad would say, my fingers. How many people I'm gonna actually give money to? My daddy being one of them, I will give him money if he says I need this or whatever. Okay, how much? I may have to go do something to make it, but it's like, okay, let's do it. I posted on Facebook recently that he used to put biscuits in our mouth, what he did working for 40 plus years at Central Electric. And we were home a few weeks ago at Christmas. I put a few biscuits in his mouth. It's always good to do that. But that's growth for me because there was a time I couldn't do that. It was a struggle somewhere. If we went to a restaurant, I'm like, okay, we can only get this, this, this. But then when they bring the bill, they look right directly at me and they bring the bill right to me. Every time my dad asks, how much is it? What I need to give? I'm like, you already provided for this. That's growth. I think now with my dad, he realizes a lot of the blessings he had. You, in the Baptist church, there's this song talk about like, I don't have a house on the hill. I don't have this. Our house actually was on the hill. Something my dad took pride in. But we had a lot of blessings. That was a lot of growth. I had to argue with my dad when he talked about, well, we were poor. And he said, we were poor. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. When my son tried to say, we're poor, such and such, boy, I worked too hard for that term poor to be applied to me. I may not have the funding I always want right then or as much money as I want. We are not poor, son. We work too hard, too hard to be considered poor. And a lot of other things. However, don't let this new year bring you down because you think you have not grown or you have not achieved everything you wanted to in this past year, or you may not achieve what you want to in this new year. Be yourself. Be happy with yourself. Stop trying to please other folks. Let me say that one more time. Stop trying to please anyone other than yourself. That's not being selfish. You have to take care of yourself before you do anything. Remember when I said my goal for this past year was to eat? But before you can save the world, make the world, become a better person, all that, you have to eat. Oh, well, I did a fast most of this year. Yeah, you fasted, but at some point you had to come back and eat because you didn't eat. July 4th could have been my last day here on this earth if I didn't eventually eat something. Was in the hospital. First thing they said is like, we can't give you anything by mouth. And I've been through that situation before. They can't feed you because they weren't for sure when the surgery would be. So I couldn't have actual food. I could have some like ice chips. And in my mind, those ice chips was a steak or whatever. Because I've been through that situation before. Nothing by mouth or whatever, such and such. But as soon as that surgery was over, the first thing they wanted me to do, they had a plate there for me to eat. They said, you got to eat. Because look, this number doesn't look here, so you need to eat something to get this number here, and this number is too high, whatever, and it goes high because you haven't eaten anything, or whatever. Blah, blah. So my goal, the one day that I didn't do my goal was the day I ended up in the hospital. So again, I might make it, but it's definitely my goal every day is to eat. I love to eat, by the way. I love to eat. So my growth this year has always been when I realized because of how my hectic schedule is after I do the Just Over Broke, then sometimes I go out and do divine deliverance of the people. I may not eat the way I'm supposed to or on a schedule, and I try to actually eat meals. Now I don't like when I have to go fast food. When I'm out at 2 a.m. in the morning doing divine deliverance of the people, and that stomach starts growling, and the only thing available is probably fast food, something. And I'd be like, oh, if I could do something else, or I can just get a little snack. Sometimes I can get to an actual meal. I'm looking into some options though. With my growth this year, it's a lot of things. I know some things I am putting into motion that are happening. Some things are finally happening. It's my time. I don't know who sings it, so I'm going to find it. It's my time to shine. It's some things that I've been putting into motion for a long time, and they're actually going to happen this year or next year. We're a few hours from 2025. In other parts of the world, I think it's already the new year. It's depending on how many hours ahead of us there are. But I'm putting some things in motion. I'm making some changes. There's a lot of things going on with me personally, professionally, financially, spiritually. I just don't know right now where I'm going to go with those things. I know where I want to go. I know what I would like to do. I'm a person, I have to measure before I cut the wood, as the Bible says. You measure and you measure it twice and then you cut once. I'm measuring some things. And because I'm the one that can measure my growth, I have the ruler. Funny, there was a ruler here when I first started, and da 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 da, there it is. I hold the ruler to measuring my growth. Can you get it up there? Yeah, that's maybe upside down when you're looking at it in the screen. I don't know, whatever. But I am the person that can measure my growth. No one else can say, "Oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that." I am the person who can measure my growth. You need to say that yourself. You are the person who can measure your growth. No one else can tell you you did or didn't grow. Be happy with whatever plans you put forth you intend to do. Be happy about it. Be proud about it. Stick your chest out with it. Say it proud. I didn't accomplish nothing and I'm proud. Well, you accomplished something. You breathe every day of that year. You breathe, or else you wouldn't be in the new year. And on that note, I'm sad because when I'm recording this, former President Jimmy Carter just passed. I was one of the first presidents I remember. First humor speech contest I entered was on a speech, and it was titled "It's Election Time." And it started from the presidency of Jimmy Carter all the way up to Obama and McCain. They were running at the time. So President Carter, first president I remember, my mom was trying to explain that to me when I was like 4 years old. The inauguration, that was the first inauguration. She said we had to watch it, made us watch it. I wanted to watch Sesame Street. They were talking about the letter G that day. But she went, that started my love of politics. Political science pre-law major, Jackson State University, 19 da 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 da. I want to say my degree says 95 because I should have graduated in December. I finished in December, but had to come back in March and May. Told something else. But since we got on that subject, some people aren't here. A longtime friend of mine, they recently just lost one of their parents, but most notably, James Earl Jones, he passed this year. Quincy Jones, I just realized they had the same last name. I wonder where they related. John Amos. I used to think his name was John Amos when I used to see Good Times coming on. Good Times was one of my shows. And James was like one of my favorite people because he was a real true quote unquote black dad. That's kind of how my dad was on some things. Some things he didn't play about. He stood firm and strong on some things, and that was just it. I like James Earl Jones. This is a funny thing about me. At one point in life, I used to have this nice, wonderful bass voice. People used to like that little voice. And I used to emulate James Earl Jones. I've seen him in a lot of movies, but there's one movie he played Vernon. Well, I can't remember his name. The first time was running, he was a pastor of this church. And I was watching this movie years ago, and I kept like, why is this being told? And you keep watching it because you don't. Vernon Jones, that's what it was. James Earl Jones, Vernon Jones. Duh. Light bulb just went up. But he played Vernon Jones. I think it was the Vernon Jones story. And at the time, I did not know why this story was a story. But James Earl, he played the role. He was a pastor of this church. And that deep, demanding voice of his was just, when he preached from the pulpit, he was saying the stuff, and the people there, but they didn't always agree with what he was saying, how he said it. One scene, he used a cuss word from the pulpit. Oh, you can't do that in the Baptist church. Not back in the 60s. This is when the movie was set. And at the very end, you find out why this man, he was fighting for civil rights down somewhere in Alabama. And was it Dexter Street Church? I see, I got to go back and look at my history, because who he is and who else, you're going to look up Vernon Jones. When they finally did get rid of him as being the pastor of church, or made him leave or whatever, the incoming pastor, he was giving some instructions to that pastor. He's like, look, these are stiff necked people, but you have to stand strong, stand steadfast, and preach the word. And that incoming preacher, pastor of that church, was a little young preacher named Martin Luther King Jr. I got to find that movie. I got to find that movie somewhere, because James Earl Jones, he played that role. I don't know if he won an award. I'm pretty sure he didn't. I don't know if he was nominated. Probably wasn't. He played that role. If you can find that movie, The Story of Vernon Jones. Oh my goodness, James Earl Jones did that. Quincy Jones. Did Luke Gossett pass this year too? I want to say he passed early in the year. If so, we're going to include him. And I know there were some other people that passed that impacted me, but I'm just these three men. Quincy Jones. I had no idea who Quincy Jones was for a long time, but I know he was the guy that produced Michael Jackson's album Thriller. He's the one that basically made Michael Jackson, not just the lead singer of the Jackson Five, but he's the one that made Michael Jackson, most biggest selling album of all time, Thriller, all of that. Skipping my age, coming up in the '80s. I know Quincy Jones was behind that. I didn't find out years later he was originally a trumpet player. He had his hand in a lot of things, and you see, get an album that says Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones don't sing, but one of my all-time favorite songs, "The Secret Garden." I know Barry White's on there. Elder Barge. I'm gonna get in trouble because I cannot name everybody that was on that album. Don't you love the wonderful thing about modern technology, that it can tell you stuff in a matter of seconds? The Secret, how do you spell garden? Garden. The Secret Garden. It's telling me about a restaurant here in Atlanta. QU. The Secret Garden, Quincy Jones, QU. See, that's what happens when you don't have a script. I'm doing everything kind of off the hand right now. Quincy Jones, The Secret Garden, Quincy Jones. We're just going to put the video. That'll tell us who's in it. Albie Shear, James Ingram, Barry White, Elder Barge. Which reminds Barry White, which either his birthday is close to mine or he died close to my birthday years ago, something like that. He had that deep voice. I loved his voice. So that I loved emulating, like I said, James Earl Jones. I loved emulating his voice. Would I get in trouble if I went, "This is theater"? I don't know if I get in trouble for that or not, but I just loved it. That was his voice. But again, Quincy Jones, one of my all-time favorite songs was "The Secret Garden." I love that song. This show called Midnight Love used to come on BT, I think on Friday nights, and they would play that. Oh my goodness. Do the Barry White part. I can't even think of the words now. I want to be close to you. I can't remember it. I'm not a singer, but anyway, that's one of the reasons I just love Quincy Jones. And when he was directing We Are the World, he was up there, because that's what I always thought he was. He was just a director, but he was a producer extraordinary. He played trumpet. Listening to jazz, they did a tribute to Quincy Jones. I listen to jazz a lot, So one of the programs I did a tribute to Quincy Jones and a lot of stuff he did, and when he played trumpet and things like that. I know some movie I watched, I think it was a Temptation. That's where I first learned he was a trumpet player and he was playing all around the world. But wonderful. I said Quincy Jones, James Earl Jones, John Amos, probably Lou Gossett. Lou Gossett has been around forever. Lou Gossett Jr. He's been around forever. I remember a show he had back in the 80s called The Powers of Matthew Starr, The Friends of something about Matthew Starr. But people always love him. I know there's a lot of the people I'm missing out on that passed this year. I can't think of all of them. No disrespect to anyone that we lost this year, but those did just kind of stick out to me, just kind of hit me. And then like a friend of mine, their one of their parents passed here recently, and I just think about my mom. She's been gone for 34 years now, and these were all friends of my mom. I see a lot of my mom's friends coming up. They are no longer here. A lot of the Another friend of mine, her mom passed this year as well. Good friend of mine. Uh, Growing up in Providence Missionary Baptist Church in very rural Philadelphia, Mississippi, there was always this I say cast of ladies that were I consider them to be more seasoned people, whatever. They had this thing called the senior choir, and at the time I didn't know all of them were sisters, cousins, and things like that. That made it a senior choir. But one of the ladies in that, she was over our usher board for years at Providence Missionary Baptist Church. She passed. A good friend of mine. Well, her son and daughter always been good friends of mine. I've known them forever. So those are some people that just kind of stick out right now in my mind as far as passings of people we lost this year. But life goes on. I had this phrase that whoever said it gets better over time lied. Nothing is more truer than that. But life goes on. And then within this life, we make decisions to either do or to either not do, either to go or not go. We either, see, I went from either to either. See, the country came out there. We either, we either decide that we are going to accomplish something that we've been setting out to do for a long time, or we decide we're not, or we decide we're just going to keep saying, I want to do this, I want to do this. So it all lies with you. We get this one life. And you may say, this person didn't get to see this, this person didn't get to do this. But for the time that they were here, oh, Alice just passed. Linda Lavin, Alice. Oh, I love that show. It's funny. I was watching something. I want to say No Good Deed, and the lady in there. I'm going like, is that Alice? So with this modern technology, someone looked it up like that's Linda Lavin. I'm like, wow, I thought she was like 90 some years. She passed at 87. Oh wow. I'm like, yeah, she just recently passed. Jimmy Carter just recently passed. But in this thing called life, we get one. In all my years, my 50 years, I've never known someone to quote unquote actually get a second life. Now, I know in the Baptist church it said you're reborn to life, but when it really comes down from the time you are born to the time you die, you have one life. You have a choice what you would do in that life. Am I happy about every choice I made in my life? Oh, no. If I made some different choices with a lot of other things a lot sooner, I would be a lot richer. But life is not just about how much money you have either. My dad always said we was poor because we probably didn't have the amount of money he thought we should have on something. Again, I debate him each and every time. We weren't poor. And those peas we sold, we made a pretty good amount of money on those peas too, as a matter of fact. But something here kind of touches my heart. Went to mailbox and I had a gift. And maybe this person will listen to my podcast, but I'm going to say what they gave. Part of the gift was a key ring. And on that key ring, I'm going to try to read it here. I know I have shades on. I got my little festive hat on. Be a little snazzy today. May you be proud of the work you do, the person you are, and the difference you make. Happy New Year, everyone. And hey, let's grow together. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to continue to grow together. Happy New Year. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. I hope you got a little time to spend some time with your family. Thank you again from Chetro LLC and the What Chetro Thinks About It podcast. Thank you for 2024 and everything that's to come in 2025. My time here is done, and that's all that's on my mind for now. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode, and thank you for allowing me to serve you. Please listen, like, share, and subscribe to my podcast, as well as all of my Instagram and Facebook posts. They changed it. You can still access me at anchor.fm/Chetro, but they changed it to podcasters for Spotify. Just have to look it up. Anchor used to be the easiest platform to do your podcast. It's not. So, hey, there may be some growth there where we do something, whatever. Apple Podcasts is the easiest way to find the What Chetro Thinks About It podcast show, but I'm on several different platforms. A lot of them is not in existence anymore, so I can't even name them. Please remember to give me a 5-star rating and a positive review where available. Tell your friends and your enemies about What Chetro Thinks About It, a production of Chetro LLC, where I build confidence by using your situation as motivation. Contact me for speaking events, panel discussions, coaching, speech writing, mock interviews, as well as I can host things right now. I like being a host. I've been doing a little hosting here lately, so I'm looking for a lot of events. If you need a speaker for your event, hey, reach out to chetrospeaks@gmail.com. That's CHETROSPEAKS@gmail.com. You can follow me on Facebook at Chetro Speaks, Instagram, What Chetro Thinks About It podcast. Thinks has no I in it, by the way, as well as Chetro_LLC. That's CHETRO_LLC. Those are both my Instagram links. You can also buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Chetro, CHETRO. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I thank you so much for all who have supported me over these, I guess, 3 years. Yeah, about 3 years, coming up 4, I guess, that I've been kind of in this game. Thanks for joining in. Oh, can't forget this. To become a better leader, communicator, and speaker, learn more at Toastmasters.org. And until next time, I am Chetro, and this has been What Chetro Thinks About It. Happy New Year, everybody.